Hello, and welcome to Foundations for Algebra, Unit 2A, Lesson 8. Today, scholars will use mathematical properties to rewrite formulas and literal equations to highlight quantities of interest. This is an algebra extension for Foundations for Algebra. So the first thing is, when we're rewriting formulas and literal equations, what does it mean to solve? Okay, so if I'm looking at this first equation and I decide that I want to solve for y, I need to get y by itself. So the first thing we do is get rid of this 5x. I'm going to get rid of it by simply subtracting it. I'm going to use my subtraction property of equality to subtract it from both sides. So I have 5x minus 5x minus 1/2 y equals 3 minus 5x. When I combine my like terms, I'm left with negative 1/2 y equals 3 minus 5x. Make sure you don't lose that negative on the 1/2 y. The negative doesn't go away. So then, I need to get rid of the negative 1/2 y that's multiplying. So I'm going to divide, actually, I'm going to do a trick here. Instead of dividing, I'm actually going to multiply both sides by negative 2. So negative 1/2 y times negative 2 equals 3 minus 5x times negative 2. On the left side, negative times negative is a positive. 1/2 times 2 is simply 1. So I get y equals, and on the other side, I'm going to end up using the distributive property to get negative 6 plus 10x. So negative 2 times 3 gives me negative 6. Negative 2 times negative 5 gives me positive 10. So we're taking all of the stuff that we've learned and we are just applying it in slightly different ways. Well, what about of this other equation if I wanted to solve this one again for y? Well, once again, I'm simply going to get rid of the x by subtracting it. So I have 6 pi minus x equals x minus x plus 2y. Again, that's subtraction property of equality. When I combine my like terms, I'm left with 6 pi minus x equals 2y. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide everything, use my division property of equality to divide by 2. So I have 6 pi minus x divided by 2 equals 2y divided by 2. So when I simplify that, 6 pi divided by 2 is just 3 pi minus x over 2 equals y. Again, this looks really complicated, but it's really not that bad. Let's try another couple. Here, we're going to be solving for h. So on this left side, first thing I'm going to do is simply multiply by 2. So I've got 2 times a equals 2 times 1/2 bh. When I simplify that, I get 2a equals bh. And then I'm simply going to use my division property of equality to divide both sides by b to get the h by itself. 2a divided by b equals bh divided by b, which when I simplify gives me 2a divided by b equals h. Again, I'm simply undoing whatever's being done. And then let's come over to this other one. Here I am solving for h again. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this entire term and subtract it. So I have s minus 2 pi r squared equals 2 pi r squared minus 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Oops, sorry, I thought the h showed up there. Oh, let's undo that. Sorry. R H. Okay, so the next thing we do is so that was SP. Then I'm just going to combine my like terms. Left with S minus 2 pi R squared equals 2 pi R H. And again, I'm trying to get H by itself. The 2, the pi, and the R are all multiplied with my H. I know that because there's no symbols between them. So I'm simply going to use my division property of equality and divide both sides by 2 pi R. So I have S minus 2 pi R squared divided by 2 pi R equals 2 pi RH divided by 2 pi R. When I combine like terms, I'm left with S divided by 2 pi R minus R equals H. Okay, a couple more real quick. Let's look at this. AX plus BY equals C. AX plus BY equals C is a formula for literal equation. Right now, it's solved for C. We have what C equals. So let's try rewriting this to solve it for A. So I want it to say A equals. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to undo the plus BY by doing AX plus BY minus BY equals C minus BY. That's just my subtraction property of equality. So when I combine like terms, I get AX equals C minus BY. Well, I still don't have A by itself. A and X are multiplying with each other. Well, the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm just going to divide each part by X. So I have AX divided by X equals, remember, each part has to be divided. C divided by X minus BY divided by X. That's my division property of equality. And when I simplify, I'm left with A equals, and there are two ways to write this. You can either write it C divided by X minus BY divided by X, or you can write it as C minus BY, all one term, over X. Either way is fine. Well, what if I have the same equation, but now I want to solve it for B? Pause the video and see if you can solve for B. Okay, so you should have subtracted first AX minus AX plus BY equals C minus AX. When I combine my like terms, I'm left with BY equals C minus AX. My next step, because I need to get the the Y away from my B, is I'm going to divide both sides by Y. So I have BY divided by Y equals C minus AX divided by Y. When I simplify that, Y divided by Y goes away. I get B equals C minus AX over Y. Well, what if I wanted to solve this for X instead of solving it for something else? It's going to look a lot like what I solved for Y. For what I solved for A. I'm going to subtract BY first. AX plus BY minus BY equals C minus BY. Again, subtraction property of equality. Combine my like terms, I get AX equals C minus BY. The next step is going to be I have to get the A away. So I'm going to divide everything by A. AX divided by A equals C minus BY divided by A, my division property of equality. And when I simplify, I'm left with X equals C minus BY over A. One more. Guess what? We're solving for Y this time. Pause and see if you can solve for Y. Okay. Our first step is going to be to subtract ax from both sides. Ax minus ax plus by equals c minus ax. I'm simply using my subtraction property of equality. When I combine my like terms, I get by equals c minus ax. Now I am solving for y, so I'm going to divide both sides by b, the thing that's multiplied by y. by divided by b equals c minus ax divided by b, and that's just my division property of equality. When I simplify, I'm left with y equals c minus ax divided by b. Okay, try your classwork and let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you in class.